Erik Ten Hag to Manchester United looks like a matter of time. These are the reports that came out very late yesterday evening. A lot of talk over the course of the past week that during the international break, Man United could finalize their move and announce the next permanent manager. Of course, if you've been living under a rock, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was sacked towards the end of 2021, and Ralph Rangnick came in as the interim. He was only ever going to be the manager for 6 months. They were going to look to bring a permanent full-time replacement in during the summer of 2022. Maurizio Pochettino and Erik Ten Hag have been the two names consistently discussed and spoken about as being the potential two candidates to come in and try to take this club forward. I think speculation has got to a point now where some Manchester United fans have almost lost a little bit of, I wouldn't say faith in the situation, but almost getting a little bit bored. They just want to know who the new manager is going to be, who is going to come in, who is going to look to try and get this done. Now, what's very, very intriguing indeed, it does appear that on Monday, an interview took place between Erik Ten Hag and Manchester United. And depending upon the media outlets of which you discuss and that you talk about, you get a very different piece of feedback in terms of how close this is to happening, what's actually going on, what the process is going to be moving forward. Some are suggesting that it is a matter of time, as we have seen here. Now, that information has come directly from, I want to get the name of this journalist absolutely right. As you know, this is recorded, but it's live recorded, so we don't edit this stuff out. That has come directly from Ronan Murphy, who works for transfer.com and Sony Sports Network. Very credible journalist who has tweeted that out, not known for being overtly sensationalist in relation to these types of stories. On top of that, there is a growing, this is another tweet that was put out yesterday by Sam Pilger, who is a chief sports writer for Forbes, 442, The Athletic, Bleacher Report, The Times, amongst many other outlets as well, has said that there is a growing momentum behind Erik Ten Hag to Manchester United. If Ten Hag is offered the United role, then he will accept it. There is talk that Man United are, of course, going to be speaking to other managers as well, which I think is key and worth noting that in a big article in the Daily Mail today, they speak about this interview happening on Monday. That's been confirmed by a number of people. But the club do want to speak to Maurizio Pochettino. They do want to speak to Luis Enrique, who, of course, may not be available right now as it stands. So there are a couple of other candidates that Manchester United want to speak to, but at the same time, there is this feeling that Erik Ten Hag is what it could be. Remember, Luis Enrique is with Spain, so where there is the one possibility there with Luis Enrique is that if he's the guy that Man United want, they may wait until after the World Cup, which is in the November, December time of 2022 this year. They may wait and give Ralph an extra 6 months or so in charge. That wouldn't be anybody's ideal situation. We want to see progression and movement forward now. But if they feel that Luis Enrique is the right guy to take the club forward, then that is what they will do. Now, a lot of this was typified and put out and confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, who quoted Chris Wheeler and Sammy McBell. And it's one of the reasons why Sammy McBell is a journalist that I've got a lot of time for at the moment. Often quoted, credited, and backed up by a lot of the so-called tier ones. And Fabrizio here has said that Man United have interviewed Ten Hag, confirmed as per Chris Wheeler and Sammy McBell. Meeting took place this week. United are happy with these English levels, but final decision will involve multiple factors. The board will interview other candidates as well. But you've got to remember that these interviews are going on now. So one thing I want to reiterate, this isn't going to be we interview Ten Hag today, Poch in 3 or 4 weeks' time. Man United have had conversations, either directly or indirectly, with these managers. If Ten Hag is the guy, they could be announcing it now. If they decide that Ten Hag isn't right for them and they're going to hold out a little bit longer, that will delay things. Now, I was told by a journalist at the weekend that there was the distinct possibility that Manchester United could announce their new manager very, very soon. This interview process is very much part of that. Manchester United are now back deliberating, looking at what it is they should do. The one chilling aspect of this for me, or frustrating part, I would say, is that Erik Ten Hag doesn't appear to be part of that process. That is a genuine concern and worry that I have personally towards all of this, because I feel as though he should be part of it. I feel as though we need his level of expertise at board level, and he has confirmed via Sky Sports and Melissa Reddy that he hasn't been part of this. He hasn't been spoken to. He hasn't been spoke to about this. He hasn't been consulted. He hasn't had any input. He's been told essentially to get on the training ground, train the team, try and rectify this season, essentially try to make top four, try to get a Champions League football next year. I'm personally not too happy about that as a Man United fan. I think that we are... I gave this example yesterday, and I'll use it again in case you didn't watch yesterday's show. If I'm making an album and I want to make the best music possible, and the only person I had available to me at the time was Peter Andre. Peter Andre's there giving me all these music experience and his ideas and guiding me. But then, out of the blue, I'm able to get Jay-Z and Ed Sheeran into the room with me. If I'm not taking their advice over Peter Andre's, I'm an idiot. You know, I've got a friend who's done this to me. He asked me for advice about content creating, but he always listens to another friend of his, and the friend of his isn't very good at content creating, has never made any content, doesn't know how to succeed. He takes his advice over mine each time and then comes back to me and goes, "Oh, it hasn't worked this time, Terry. What can I do different?" I'm like, well, listen to people that have been there and done it, worn the t-shirt maybe. Like, that's the kind of... I mean, it's a very simplistic way of doing things, but it holds true. Who are you going to take YouTube advice from? Someone who's flopped on YouTube, or Don Robbie? Who are you going to take comedic advice from? Are you going to take comedic advice from Dave Chappelle, or some bum who's never made anyone laugh? And that's how I kind of feel about Man United's board. No one really that we have behind the scenes outside of Rangnick has got any proven track record at the elite level of building teams that can win. So spending more wisely, you know, these types of things. And I just want to see us do something different in that space, because I think Erik Ten Hag, I think Luis Enrique could do fantastic jobs. We're also linked to, I always pronounce his name wrong. I can't pronounce the Sevilla manager. His name eludes me right now, so I'm very, very sorry. You know, we've been linked to him as well, which is great. But I feel for all these managers, if they're coming into Manchester United without I don't know. I want to just make sure I say this in the right way, right? Because I don't want to sound like somebody who is being overly pessimistic all the time. But until we fix things behind the scenes, I'm always going to have an air of frustration to how we operate and kind of how we do things. It's always going to bother me. It's always going to concern me. It's always going to make me worried as to whether or not we are actually moving in the right direction, trying to take the club forward in the right way. In terms of Erik Ten Hag, look, he's a top-level manager. He's a top-level manager. When managing Bayern Munich B team, 67% win ratio. In 72 games he took charge of, only losing 14, winning 48. He then moved on to Anderlecht, and again, a 50% win ratio, a really sort of middle-of-the-road team in the Eredivisie. Very good returns. Moves on to Ajax, and since 2017, 207 games played, 153 wins, a 74% win ratio for him, which is absolutely impeccable. The style of football is something a lot of Man United fans are excited about coming to the football club. But of course, the big talking point is he going to be good enough? Is he going to be able to get that done? Is he going to be able to get things over the line for Manchester United? And that is the big question. And there are question marks about him. And I did see, I don't remember who the journalist was the other day, but there was questions over him around, he's never managed at the Prem level, La Liga level, or the proper Bundesliga level. He's never been the head honcho at a major club before. And I think all these things are real, genuine, bona fide challenges. But you've got to remember, Ajax hadn't won the league title, and they dominate the league title. 35 times they've won it in the Netherlands league, stroke Eredivisie, 35 times. But they hadn't won it since 2014 until he came in. They hadn't won their version of the FA Cup since 2010 until he came in, as an example. Their progression in the Champions League was almost non-existent until he came in. And for a club that, of course, build youngsters and kind of buy very sparingly across Europe, you know, he's striker at the moment is Sebastian Haller, a Premier League flop, who he's turned into a killer in his league, who's done very well in the Champions League until they went out. But of course, always losing his best players. Imagine still progressing into the knockout stage of the Champions League, still winning your national league, still winning your national cup a couple of times. When you lose De Ligt, when you lose Frankie de Jong, when you lose Donny van der Beek, when you lose Ziyech, to name a few, and there'll be other names in there that I'm probably forgetting about because I'm not an Eredivisie and Ajax expert, but there is a lot of excitement as to whether or not this can happen. We know the interview is taken place, confirmed, as you can see, by Fabrizio Romano. Will he be the right guy for Manchester United, though? That is the big, big question that I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on. Is he going to be good enough to take Manchester United forward to that next level? Would you prefer somebody else? They're the big questions as well. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you're thinking and feeling. Check out some of the offers that we've got for you here as well, up to a 40% discount. Click on the link. Summer is on the way. The weather's getting nicer. So go and take a look at that. Until next time, my people, look after yourselves. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you.